Summer lovin' had me a blast.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy, cute as can be.
Summer
Summer
fling
things, oh,
don't mean a
anything.
thing but
Oh,
all
oh,
those
the
summer
summer night. Oh,
nights.
well, oh, well,
Well. Hey, everybody, welcome to
Yay!
Sunday Night Fiction Club, which is all about fun summer things. So we figured we'd start with a very fun summer song from Grease,
Grease!
the first movie.
Yay! Olivia Newton-John
And
and
John Travolta and the
woo!
T-Birds and the Pink Ladies. So our viewers who are watching live, you're welcome. You're welcome for that live performance. Hey, Melissa, how are you?
How am I doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm muting the YouTube video.
YouTube? I just heard you singing a second ago. I heard
I
you singing
cannot
there.
I cannot believe I sang on here.
You always say that, but you've sung on like 15 shows.
Have I?
Well,
Oh
maybe
God, now I gotta go back and like count them.
I don't
Oh
even know
my
if we've done
God!
15 shows. It's funny. I see that our live viewers actually dropped by a few, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with the singing.
Oh, oh, I feel bad now.
No, they're
Just
calling
plug your ears up, guys.
But hey, everybody, welcome to Sunday Night Fiction Club. Tonight, like I said, we are doing it on fun summer things, all things fiction for summer. We're going to be talking music,
Woohoo!
movies, books. I don't know what else Melissa's got. I know she's got some notes for the show. And
I
our live
do.
viewers, we encourage you to chime in with some of your favorite summer things. But, Melissa,
Yes.
hi. You weren't here last week. We missed
Nope.
you.
Nope. I
We missed
wasn't
you.
here. I had major technical difficulties. No internet at the house.
Yeah, that sucks. That
I,
sucks.
I think the family was twitching.
Did you get to see the show though? Because we did, we carried on without you.
Yes, I did. Well, I gotta be honest. I saw half of it
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
I was like on the go and I was listening to it in the car, and then I had to run in and get the dog, dog
Right.
food, and then pick up kids. Life's nuts. But
Life is nuts. Life is nuts. A special thank you though to Lisa Stahl, Xavier Granville, and the Walking Rob for
yay!
filling
Thank
in for Melissa
you.
last week. We had a fun show.
See, it takes three people to replace me.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we always start out the show talking about what we're reading.
Yes.
Have you been reading anything lately?
Let's see. I finished off The Siren. Did I tell you about that book yet?
No.
Tiffany
Is it
Wright.
like a loud, like, siren, or like a siren, like, I am a siren, I am going to spread love throughout the land?
Sirens didn't spread love. They sang a song to bring sailors to their death.
Oh, yeah, I remember that in a Doctor Who episode. Remember that? Remember
Yes.
that Doctor Who? That was awesome. But they had the
Oh
little black
man,
spot on their
everything
head.
comes back to Doctor Who.
It really does. It really does. I saw a guy today at work. He was wearing a T-shirt, Doctor Who T-shirt, and it
Hmm.
had this TARDIS on there, right?
Woo!
And I looked at it, and I just nodded at him. I'm like, that's bigger on the inside than on the outside. And he laughed.
He better have laughed, or
We
he
were
does not
kindred,
deserve to be
kindred,
wearing that
we were
shirt.
kindred Whovians. There.
I was
So
just
tell me.
watching, what is it, The Vampires of Venice? Connor picked that one
Oh
tonight.
yeah, yeah, good one, good one. So tell me about the siren though.
The Siren by Tiffany Rice is I'm dropping everything here. Is kind of a romance, erotic romance. You know me and my erotica, but the story
Yeah.
is absolutely fascinating, and it is a series, and it's basically okay. I have to admit something. I'm not always crazy about when writers write about writing.
Okay.
She writes about a writer who has been a very famous erotica writer, and she has this really great book, and she wants to get in with some high top publisher to get it published. And the story is about how the editor that gets assigned to her just thinks her writing's trash, and he doesn't want to work with it. And
Oh, okay.
but then they end up kind of, it's the whole deal, exploring relationships, and um, she writes about the BDSM community, Dom subs, and all that. So
Mhm.
she kind of introduces this, uptight English editor,
Oh, okay. Interesting.
which you got to read the book. It's really well done.
Who's
I
the
just
author again?
Tiffany Rice. I think she's incredibly smart.
Oh,
She's an
okay.
incredibly smart writer. I think she publishes through the Harlequin Mira or Myra or whatever
Oh, okay, cool.
sub publishing house that is.
Nice, nice.
So what have you been reading?
Well, I am still. I haven't gotten into it just because, like you said, life gets crazy. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
hard to find time to read. But I have been reading Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
I downloaded it and
Oh,
I
cool.
just got it on my Kindle. So
Yeah, 'cause in a future show, we're gonna do this, right? I can announce
yes,
it.
we're
Okay.
gonna do this.
Okay. We're going to both. We're going to review and talk about that book, and maybe talk about
Excellent.
Neil Gaiman in general. So I don't
Excellent.
know when we're going to do that, but maybe when we both have read it. That's probably a good time to do it after we both read it. Oh boy, a whole bunch of
I know, I just saw these
comments just
comments.
popped up.
My ears, my, oh my God, the pain. Thanks, David.
That's David Anson. Patrick said, "Good evening, all." And the Walking Rob said, "This is better than the Tonys." And I didn't realize the Tonys were on tonight. We could have done like a Tony-related show.
I didn't know the Tonys were on. That's what's
Yeah,
wrong with me. I don't know when the Grammys are on or the Tonys or
yeah.
the Country
Well,
Music Awards. I have no clue.
I'm telling you, next year though, if we do it when the Tonys on, it's always on a Sunday night. We'll do
Hmm.
a Tony-related show.
Okay.
But I don't mean anything about the Tony Awards. I mean just like maybe about Tony Danza. Talk about Tony
Ooh.
Danza for an hour.
Oh,
Or popular Tonys.
you're
Popular
so good.
Tonys we'll
You're
do on Tony
so
night.
good. That is such an excellent idea.
Well, thank you.
Popular Tonys.
Popular Tonys we're going to do on Tony night next year. So people, mark your calendars.
Plan ahead.
Plan ahead. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of Good Omens, but I picked up a book that I read years ago, and I started rereading it, and it's A Walk Among the Tombstones by Lawrence Block. You probably have not heard of that.
No.
However, you are going to be hearing about the movie soon. They're making a movie out of this. I think I might have
Really?
mentioned it on a previous show. The trailer for the movie just came out this past week, and the movie is starring Liam Neeson as,
Oh,
yeah, as
love him.
Matt Scudder, who is Lawrence Block's probably most famous character. He's had a series with Matt Scudder going on since the 70s.
Oh, wow.
He's a former cop who left the police force under some like bad circumstances. He had accidentally killed a little girl in a shooting, and he was a
Mm.
heavy drinker. And he left the police force, and he sort of became an unlicensed private eye. He would people would come to him with their problems, and he would
Hmm.
try to solve their problems and solve crimes, and it usually involves a murder. And this is one of his most popular books in the series, and it's being turned into this movie starring Liam Neeson, and this trailer looks great. I don't think it comes out till August or September, but I
Okay.
saw the trailer and it made me pick up the book again, and it's a great book. And the Matt Scudder
Well,
series by Lawrence Block, I highly encourage people to read.
I was just gonna say if because you love this guy, and I've been talking
Mhm.
about reading the book so we can review it together.
Yeah.
Because of course you're in love with it, and I could just like tear it to pieces. No, no, I'm kidding. But we could do like watch the movie, and I'll have read the book, and we can do a whole thing on it.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. So
Those
what, you're
sound
saying you want to do the book before the movie comes out?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. Which
Well, we'll
way do
talk
you
about that later.
recommend it?
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Okay, okay,
We got some time on that one. First, we'll do Good Omens.
okay.
And first, though, we're going to talk about our topic for tonight.
Ooh.
Okay, summer fiction,
Woo!
summer fun.
Yes,
Okay, you've got some stuff there. So
I do.
why don't we start it off with you, my dear
Should we
partner?
start off with some movies, music, or books?
Let's start off with books.
Oh, good. Okay. Because a lot of times I think we jump to the movies.
Yeah, let's start out with books. We're on a book roll right now.
Okay.
We're going to
All
talk
right.
fiction on Sunday Night Fiction.
Best summer books. Now, here's how I came up with this list. There are a lot of books that, take place at the beach during the summer, that kind of thing.
Jaws.
But I also, Jaws, exactly. But I also picked some books that I associate with the summer because I read them while I was at the beach or over the summer, that kind of thing. So I'll kind of let you know.
Okay.
The first one on my list is, of course, a Stephen King book.
Okay.
And this was one of his first books that he published after his accident. So you guys know about his accident, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he got hit by one of his characters about going for a walk on the road. He said that, not me. He said
Right. Yeah, he did say that later
he
on.
wakes up like laying in the street and he's barely conscious of what's going on and he looks over and he realizes, oh my God, this guy, he asked the guy, like, what happened? And he's like, well, I hit you. And then just put a Maynard accent in this. But anyways, So one of the books he published after his accident was Duma Key. Have you ever heard of the
No,
book?
not familiar with that one.
And you know what? A lot of people don't talk about this one. I don't know if it flew under the radar or what, but I actually found it to be a really intriguing story. And it's about this artist, this painter, who goes to the beach to recover. He's had an accident,
Hmm.
and he makes strikes up some relationships with the other people who live on this key down in Florida, and turns out, of course, to be some secret past involving, some demon, demigod, or whatever that, is trying to influence him and gets inside his paintings. Doesn't that sound? I can't help myself, but when I read books, I project onto the writer.
Right. Yeah.
How they're dealing with their own personal demons.
Right.
um, but it's an excellent read. It takes place on Duma Key. I don't know if that's a real key, but I can only imagine that maybe Stephen King spent some time somewhere recovering and got inspired with this story because, frankly, I can't do anything anymore without some story idea coming out of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Lisa and I were like hanging out in a graveyard last night, and we were thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that sounds ridiculous. We were hanging out Saturday night. We were hanging out in a graveyard, but I took her for a walk in the area I grew up in. It's historic Newcastle in Delaware, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
colonial type town. And we went to this really cool old graveyard where there's
Mm-hmm.
tombstones in there from the 1600s, 1700s, and it's just really got that creepy vibe. And that we're both like, oh, I can think of some story ideas along this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but that Zuma Key, that's so that came out shortly after his accident. It was the first one after his accident, or one of the
I'm not
first?
sure if that was the first one. I know Lisi's story, which I think is being turned into a movie
Oh,
now,
okay.
and Duma Key, I think we were two of the first ones. And I remember reading and just being enthralled with that one. It was just one of those books I couldn't put down.
Oh, cool.
It's
Very,
like,
very cool.
for me, like Tommyknockers, The Shining, all those. But Duma Key, definitely a good summer read. Give you the creeps when you're at the beach. Exactly what you need.
Hey, I wanted to bring up some comments
Hmm.
here. Xavier Granville was with us. Xavier, like I said, co-host of the show last week. Thank you again,
Awesome.
Xavier.
Thank you, Xavier.
And he posted this after I made the joke about the Tony show that we're going to do. And he said, I was about to make that crack too, buddy. The 150th annual Tony Danza Awards. Yes, I said it. 150th annual Danza is immortal.
Okay.
Xavier also said, I wonder how long until the Beach Boys come up. If I were a betting man, I would have money on this. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, now, yeah, I planned on talking about the
Yeah,
Beach
yeah.
Boys.
I knew you would. I knew you
Yeah,
would.
Patrick Stem said, awesome. Glad you're both reading Good Omens.
Yeah.
And I think we have some other things too, but we'll continue on and we'll go back to the comments.
Okay.
And
Well,
those doing
did you have a book, or did you want me to go on with books?
well, I'll mention it. I'll mention one of
Okay.
my books because actually it ties in perfectly with Stephen King.
Oh,
And that,
does it?
well, yeah, they're very, very similar. They get compared a lot, and that's Dean Koontz.
Ah, yes. Didn't they write together at some
They
point?
never did. They
Ah,
never have. But at least not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe someday.
that was Straub. Didn't he write a book with
Yes,
Straub?
Peter Straub. He wrote
Yep.
two or three books, I think. But much like you said about Stephen King, now these, well, your book, it did relate to the beach, but I used to go to the beach like almost every weekend. Like actually throughout most of my 20s, I would go like on a Saturday morning. A beach.
Hmm.
We've been to the same beach quite often, Rehoboth
Yep.
Beach,
Hmm.
Delaware. And I would drive down there early on a Saturday morning. I'd just hang out there all day Saturday, and I'd always bring a book with me. And I remember like I was really into Dean Koontz like at this time period, like in my early to mid 20s, and I would always bring his books. And I remember Lightning was one that I really liked a lot. Watchers, Servants of Twilight. So none of these books really had anything to do with the beach, but for me they
No.
were always good light reading. I mean, not that they were like light in tone by any means. He's a pretty dark guy, but it's a book you could just kind of easily get lost in, but not have to think real hard. You could
Right.
just, if you dozed off while the sun was beating on you, that was fine. But I used to really enjoy reading Dean Koontz at the beach.
And I think that's one of the big things about beach reads is they say an easy beach read. I mean, this is about chillaxing. It's about
Right,
not
right.
having to dig too deep, But, some people would consider what I love in a beach read, vapid or something. Because, I don't know if you noticed, buddy, but I'm a girl.
I've never noticed
And, oh, sorry, I'm adjusting my laptop, folks. I'm actually literally sitting in my bed
that.
because I am a crazy ass writer and I have a deadline to meet. So my husband went out of town, and I said, you know what, kids? We are going to hunker down and bring in some pizza and goodies and movies and what have you. And they got set up with all that. And I basically have written. Yesterday was an 8-hour writing day. Today I wrote from 8 until 9:30. 8 in the morning
Wow.
until 9:30. I took a break at 1 because my children were whining because they wanted to be fed.
They got some nerve.
I know. And then they started whining at me again. I was like, you just ate. And they're like, Mom, it's 5:30. And I was like, oh my God. So I stopped and I fed my children and I actually took a shower and ate something because I'm not kidding you. And this is terrible. I would, as a former personal trainer and fitness instructor, I would not advise this, but I got up and got coffee.
Okay.
And then I had another cup of coffee, and then I had another cup of coffee, and I never ate until dinner time.
Oh wow. Well, you were in the zone. You were in the
I
zone.
was totally in the zone.
Yeah. But
All
let me
right.
ask you this, because this started out with, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a girl.
Oh, um,
And I lied. I have noticed that.
oh, thank you.
Especially when we were together by that pool last year and you were wearing the bikini. Yeah, I noticed that. But
Did I
okay.
wear a bikini?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you remembered. I'm glad it was memorable in a good way.
Anyway, please continue.
Okay. So, as a girl, my summer reads, and it's not all of them because I am an avid Stephen King fan. Um, Among other authors, I like Terry Pratchett, blah blah blah. But a good romance novel is a go-to for me because
Hmm.
there is nothing nicer to sink into than a good love story on the beach. Um,
Yeah.
I have to be careful. I really like to pick the easy ones for the beach. I don't want something that makes me cry.
Right. So
Because
no
the
Nicholas
last,
Sparks.
I was just going to say, nothing that, you're sitting there on the beach getting a tan and you're sobbing. No, that doesn't go over well. People worry about you. People look at you strangely. Okay. Oh, we had a couple comments before we go
Yeah, you want to
on.
bring something up?
Yeah, I've got Patrick Stemp saying, great read for this summer. The Martian by Andrew Ware. Just finished it and it's awesome. Check it
Oh, cool.
out. Will be a movie with Matt Damon when they get around to it next year. Awesome.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I have not heard of that. That's great. Sounds like Patrick really loved it.
I've got to write that one down because I have heard of that one and I did hear it was going to become a movie.
Cool.
Matt Damon's pretty to look at, and I think he's a decent actor, so. But he's good to look at. Like, I don't like pretty boys. Like, I'll be honest, Brad Pitt, bleh, he's too pretty boy for me.
Yeah, he doesn't do it for me.
Um, but, I like, well, you guys know who I like. I've talked about it before. Anyways, we got another comment from Xavier. He says, yay, I'm glad you brought up the Tommyknockers, Melissa. That's definitely my favorite book by him, and coincidentally, also the book that he wrote at the height of his drug and alcohol addictions. I did know that. It's definitely interesting to think about the author is going through when the book is written. It always shows. I really do think so. And the Tommyknockers is one of his trippy novels, as far as I'm concerned. Have you read it?
I have not. I've always heard that's really, really good.
Definitely read it. You will enjoy it. I mean, they did some weird things when they turned it into that miniseries.
Oh,
You
right.
really got to read the book. Very well done, and definitely I can see the edge of, where his brain was when he was deep into his drug time. And
Wow.
thank goodness that, he's come around and his family's helped him. All right, back to the romance novels. So, and Michael Oran's here. Hi, Michael. He says,
Hi,
sorry I'm
Michael. Thanks for
late.
checking in.
And I've got my list. So let's look at some of the romance novels. Um, okay, the easiest reads I have for the summer are by Debbie McComber, and I brought her up before, but I need
Yes.
to bring up her Blossom Street series. Have I mentioned that?
You haven't. I know she's a new friend of yours, too.
Oh my God! I met her at
Yeah,
RT,
you
and
mentioned that on the last show.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we got to talking. So yeah, you guys all know that. You have to watch me. I'll
Mhm.
retell the stories. It's like going to see Grandma. Oh, I remember when. I'm gonna be that old woman. Only I'm gonna have a ring in my nose and
There you go.
tattoos.
You have a tattoo?
I do.
I didn't know that.
I do on my back.
Oh, okay.
You didn't notice it when I was in my bikini.
Does it say Sunday Night Fiction Club?
That was before Sunday
Oh,
Night
that's
Fiction
right.
Club.
That's right. That's right.
So
Okay.
the Blossom Street series starts off with oh God, I hate when that it's called something on Blossom Street, the first one. The rest
Oh,
of them
okay.
don't all have that. But anyways, it's basically about this woman who is recovering from cancer, and she opens her dream little store, which is a yarn store. And this is definitely what you call one of those cozy reads. So I highly recommend them. They may not necessarily take place. Blossom Street is somewhere in Seattle, Washington, I think, because that's where Debbie McComer's from.
Oh, okay.
So, and what it does is it brings all the characters together in the first book, and you get to meet them through a knitting class, and they're each going through their own things in their life. And then either characters from that core group are the main character in the next book, or some character off of them that you meet becomes the main character in another book. So you get this
Oh, okay.
series of books in the same little area, same little town, and they get, you get to spread out and meet all these different people and see how their lives work out. Excellent, excellent reads.
How far back does the series go? Has it been around a while then, I guess?
It's been around a while. I'm going to say 10 to 12 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
it may have came out before that.
Hmm.
I don't know the publication dates.
Well, that's fine. I wasn't grilling you that intensely. I was just curious.
I like here I am. I thought I was being all prepared, and Buddy stumped me.
Well, cool. And you've read, I know, like you said, a lot of books by her.
Oh my God, yeah. Over the years, many tons of books of Debbie McComber. I think that she trained my brain. The Shop on Blossom Street. That's the
Oh,
one
okay.
I started with. If you're a knitter, I don't know if there's any ladies in the crowd out there, but if any of you guys are knitters, there's patterns in the book, and I've knit everything she's ever put in her book. I told her that too. I
Hey,
think I'm a crazy fan.
I don't know if you saw this comment that popped up yet. It was from Michael Laron. It related to when you were talking about your weekend. He says,
Hmm.
"Wow, pizza and goodies for the weekend. You're the best mom ever, Melissa Lummis."
Oh, I spoil my kids when I want to write. I'm like, you want pizza and you want donuts and you want to watch, whatever movie? Sure.
Fantastic, fantastic.
And then when I'm not reading, I'm like, you need to stop eating all the cookies. Leave some cookies for your father. Oh, I just wanted to tell everybody, there are 9 books in the original Blossom Street series.
Oh, okay.
Um, Starting with the shop on Blossom Street.
Okay.
So there you go.
But you said like they're not like you can skip around,
Yes,
right?
you can
They're
skip around.
self-contained
You
stories.
can read, she's amazing at this. You can read any one of the books. You can go in any order. There's a publication order if you really like. I'm anal retentive that way.
Hmm.
And I want to read them in the order the author wrote them.
Yeah,
But
that's how I am too. That's how I
but I don't think, she doesn't put them out as like Blossom Street Book 1, Blossom Street Book
am.
2. She just
Yeah,
writes them in such a way that you can jump in at any point.
right. That's how like well, a lot of series are like that. That's how I want to do with my Private Eye series that I'm going to have coming out. And a lot of
I'm having a hard time with that. I thought I was
right.
going to do that with the Little Flame series, and no, because I realized that I'm like a TV writer. I'm a series writer.
Hmm.
And I have these long plot arcs that go on, book after book, and I build on them, and then
Yeah.
I know I got to wrap that one up because everybody's getting sick of that storyline. So I wrap that, and I have another one that I created 2 books back.
I think you can have some things though in certain books where it can be like something that's in each book a little bit. You don't necessarily
Mhm.
have to read the earlier books. Just like the Matt Scudder series I was talking about by Lawrence Block. I mean, in the
Mhm.
early books, Matt Scudder is a very heavy drinker. I mean, he's an alcoholic. He's got
Mhm.
problems. And then later on in the series, in 8 Million Ways to Die, he really starts to. It becomes like a big turning point in his life. And if you read them in order, you'll probably appreciate it more. But you don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
See, but I'm
I, I,
OCD. I have to.
yeah. Yeah. That's how I am too. That's how I am too.
Because I like the involvement. I like when the stories get those layers and if you really pay attention to them, you see how they each layer influences the other, and like to me that's like, I don't know, discovering treasure. I'm just all
Yeah.
about that.
Awesome, awesome. Xavier said that I've reread The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams a few
Good one.
times, always in the summer, usually on my e-reader when I'm camping. Now, I don't know
Ooh, good
about
one.
anyone else, but I really can't picture Xavier camping.
You don't know?
No, I can see it. I'm just teasing Xavier. But I've read just the first book and half of the second book in the Hitchhiker's series. I got to get back to the second one. I
Did you read
love the first one.
did you read The Dark Tea Time of the Soul?
No, that's one of the
Oh,
Hitchhiker's books?
I don't know if it's a Hitchhiker book, but it's a Douglas Adams book.
Oh, I never heard of that one.
Yeah, you got to read The Dark Tea Time of the Soul.
Interesting,
It's
interesting.
been a while since I've read it. You know what? I'm adding it to my summer reads because I'm going to the beach on Friday. No, actually, we're leaving Saturday.
Oh,
I
okay.
decided to wait because my husband is on an awesome trip right now. He went up to New York to be inducted into the Society of the Cincinnati.
Oh, interesting. I've never heard of that society. Okay.
Basically, real quick, it is there were 500 officers from the American Revolutionary War,
Okay.
and there's a
I didn't think
long.
he was that old.
No, he's not. He's a
Okay.
vampire. Did I tell you? No. Basically, the membership is progenitor. So
Oh, okay.
my father-in-law did all the research and found out that my husband was descended from, I don't know his rank, but he was an officer in the um, Revolutionary War. His last name's Costin, and I'm trying to remember his first name now. So Wayne's descended from him. And so it's all genealogically documented and filed with the society. And they're basically about preserving the story of the revolution and all that. But they also, here's the neat story behind it. When the American War for Independence was over, we were broke, no
Mhm.
moolah, so they
Right.
couldn't pay the soldiers.
Hmm.
And there were a lot of officers who basically bankrolled the war. And they sold all their possessions, gave up all their holdings, and were destitute. And so basically, what this group did is they got together to help each other out.
Oh, okay. I wasn't familiar with this.
And it's still to this day part of it, if you are a member, um, that you can actually get like really low, I mean like low rate interest type loans or something if you have some sort of financial need, and the society will work with you to, help you out.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, and there's more to the story, but it's a whole history lesson that is fascinating, but not for this show.
Well, that's cool though. I mean, that sounds very, very cool, and that's cool that you're going to be going to the beach very soon. So,
Yep. So I'm going to the beach and I'm leaving Saturday morning, so I'm going to have my Kindle. I have Good Omens if I haven't finished it by then because I'm so deep into writing, I don't know when I'm going to get back to reading it.
gotcha.
And, what I love nowadays is I can take my iPad, my Kindle, whatever, and read. I don't have to pack books.
Hmm. I'm afraid to bring my Kindle to the beach. I don't want like sand to get into it, but I'm gonna
Oh,
do it anyway.
it's fine. Just don't drop it in the sand.
Yeah, okay. A couple of comments here. Let me bring up something from Mr. Patrick Stemp. And he said, quick, easy, fun reads for the beach. Any of the Jack Reacher books by Lee Child. New one coming out in August. 19th in the series,
Holy
I think.
moly.
Holy moly, I had no idea there were that many. I've never read them. I didn't realize there were that many.
That's like Laurel K. Hamilton. I think there's like 27 books in the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how many are in the Mary Gentry series. These series that go on and on and on. Like I love Anita Blake, but I'm thinking, wow, how do you keep the stories going?
Right, right. Very. I gotta check out the Jack Reacher books. I keep meaning to. Actually, I haven't watched the Tom Cruise movie because I want to read the books.
Yeah.
So, and I hear it's a pretty decent movie.
Is it? I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Cruise, I mean, it's, I don't know, he can kind of rub people the wrong way, I think, but the guy does do good movies. I hear that new movie he's got out's pretty good, too.
Another comment from Xavier says, for some reason, the first film I thought of when thinking of summer was Grease. Summer lovin' happened so fast.
Should we talk about some summer movies then? That might be
Yeah,
a good
let's go.
transition for us here.
Perfect.
Okay.
May I
Now,
go first?
you may.
Okay. This is one I think is hysterical, and it just popped into my head, and it's Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, that's a good summer movie. Very good.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember
Oh
that.
my God, what an outrageous premise for a comedy.
Yeah, it really was. I think I went to the theaters and saw that. That was a big hit movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was a while ago. I have not seen it in a long time, but it popped into my mind when I was thinking summer movies. So if you haven't seen Weekend at Bernie's or it's been a long time, that's a good one to add to the rainy day beach
Yeah,
list.
had a good cast there. You had Andrew McCarthy,
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Silverman, Terry Kaiser was Bernie,
How do
and,
you remember all this?
and I just do. And I think the female love interest was Catherine Mary Stewart, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh my
We
God, you have it open in front of you. How
no,
can you,
I
I
just
can't remember any of this.
I just can't retain that kind of stuff. But good movie, and some good actors there. Andrew McCarthy, I used to like him a lot. He was in a
Andrew
lot of good
McCarthy's good.
stuff, in the '80s and '90s, and mostly movies like that, but some serious ones too, like one I can't remember now. So we'll move on. The
And of
one with
course,
Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Gertz was all about drugs and stuff like that. Someone
I
will leave it
don't
in the
remember.
comments.
I
Yeah,
mean, you'll say the name and I'll go, oh yeah, because I remember names.
right.
And like scenes play out in my head, but if you ask me who the actors are, I'm like, uh, let me look it
less
up.
less than zero was the one I was thinking of.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So of course Grease.
Right, there you go.
Now
There you
it's
go.
like the summer had just ended and they go through the whole school year because I think the end of the movie is the summer fair, right?
Yeah, they're just graduating
They're
from
just
school, I
graduating.
think. Yeah, and same with Grease too. It
Yep.
covers the whole school year. Everyone knows I'm a fan of Grease too. I actually prefer that over Grease. I'll be honest with you, I do.
Now, I don't know, buddy, if you did this kind of thing, but we used to have sleepovers
Hmm.
and with my girlfriends. And did you have sleepovers with my girlfriends?
I did, yeah. I'm sorry we didn't invite you. They didn't want you to know about
Oh.
it. But
Did they put curlers in your hair and make up your toes?
it,
And
it was, yeah, it was really pretty.
yeah,
I looked
that's what we
pretty.
did. So, anyways, we would get ourselves in our PJs and hang out in, eat, cookie dough and pizza
Bonbons.
and watch Grease and sing the songs. We'd get up and we'd dance around and act because that scene, the
Look at me, I'm
Sandra.
Sandra Day.
Yes, look at me, I'm Sandra D. We had to act it out because we were just goofballs.
I did that with your girlfriends too, and I'll tell you,
I
I
can
was
just
I was a great Rizzo then.
I
One
bet
where
you
I'm,
were.
mocking Sandra Day. Yeah.
Are you making fun of me, Rizzo? So, I mean, and that was the big thing for us to do. I mean, we had sleepovers all year round, but the summer ones were awesome because nobody had to get up for school.
Hmm.
There were friends of mine whose mom stayed home or whatever, so we could go over there during the week. And we sometimes have like a whole, 2 or 3 days of like taking turns staying at people's houses,
Oh,
watching
cool.
these movies.
Yeah, my friend. When guys do it differently. Like, we would hang out over a friend's house or something like that, and we do this. Not sleep. We would never call them sleepovers, but we
Mhm.
just hang out there and watch movies. But mainly it was stuff like the Rambo movies.
Ah, yeah. Well, that makes sense. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
guy thing to do.
Right, right. I remember when the first Rambo movie came out, First Blood, which is still the best of the Rambo movies. I remember watching it on, one of us had rented the videotape. Actually, I did. And I watched it with my brother, loved it. Had some friends came over, watched it again. We watched it 4 times in a row that night. People kept coming over, and never got sick of it. It's a
Aw.
great, great movie. Great, great movie.
See, that makes me remember. Because, I mean, I guess that's, the summer movies, the summer songs, the summer books. We have all these things in our memory, and they're so easy to pull out when you start talking about this stuff. It's kind of like smells, they bring about these memories.
Yeah.
But,
There was this one fart the other day that
oh boy, you're such a guy.
I
All
am.
right, I was thinking more like cookies and flowers. So,
Yeah, that's a
anyways,
nicer
okay.
smell, that's for sure.
So once we got to be like 16 and we could drive,
Hmm.
then it was a lot of couples. Like people were dating, and um, we would drive over to people's houses and we would do the same thing, have movie nights. Everybody would bring popcorn and sodas and whatever and just, hang out. And yes, we were at, our parents' house, but they usually gave us enough privacy, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So we watched a lot. I think the guys always wanted to watch the horror movies.
Right, right.
And the girls were always like,
Dirty
Dirty
Dancing.
Dancing.
Boy, I called that one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool. That's a fun movie. Dirty Dancing's a good
It
movie. I think
is,
we
and of
talked about it.
course, it has Xavier's favorite actor in it.
Yeah, I'm sure he used to act out that movie with his friends.
It was Patrick Stewart, or not Patrick Stewart. Oh, good God, someone help me. Patrick
Patrick
Swayze.
Stamp was in that. Okay.
Patrick Stamp was in
Patrick Stamp was in Dirty Dancing. Yeah.
it. And you would know Jennifer Grey
Jennifer Grey.
played the girl, the lead, it,
Baby.
baby.
Yeah.
And
Cyn-
I am in love with the soundtrack, of course.
oh, it's a great soundtrack.
And there were
Cynthia
two of
Erivo
them.
in that too. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the first soundtrack was so successful, they put out more music from Dirty Dancing.
Yes. Yep.
That's right. That's right. And let me see. Just I thought I missed a comment here, but we'll get back to that. Let me talk about a cool summer movie. This is another one. I don't know if it came out in the summer, but I remember specifically seeing it for the first time in the summer, and that was the first Star Wars. I remember seeing
Did
the
it come
first
out in
Star
the
Wars.
summer?
I don't know if it did, but I saw it when my family was on vacation down in Rehoboth, and there used to be a movie theater on Rehoboth Avenue
Yeah, there used to be one on Rehoboth Avenue, but now you got to go all the way out.
to Midway
Yeah.
Plaza. This is really exciting for people who've never been in that area. You should visit.
Let's just talk about Rehoboth Beach.
Yeah.
And playing skee ball.
Yeah, the one down on Route One.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
think there's like 12 theaters in there. No.
I think so. It's a cool place. I saw The Lost Boys there, by the way. Another cool
Oh,
film.
another
I saw that in
cool
the summer.
summer movie.
Yeah, The Lost Boys is cool for any time of the year. But I remember specifically seeing Star Wars in the summer. So to me, that will always be a summer movie.
Yeah, I know how that goes. There are movies that just will always have it. Here's one that always has a summer feel for me. I don't remember when I saw it the first time, but I think it does take place in the summer. It's the summer before sixth grade. Stand By Me.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the name of it was The Summer Before Sixth Grade.
No.
Okay. Yeah,
But I
Sam.
think it
Oh,
took place
wow.
the summer before sixth grade or ninth grade or whatever. They were about to get out of this, that time, like when you're 11 and 12 and you're in that transition
Right.
between being a little kid and, the high school years.
That was a fantastic movie.
Oh my God, it's awesome. I just watched it with the kids. They had never seen it. And I rented it and I was like, because I should own that movie. I really should. But we were at my folks, and I think I got it on Redbox.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And
Very, very cool.
that it was so fascinating to me to watch the kids and their reaction to it. Because like my daughter's at that age, and I know this is it kind of has the boy thing going on, but I think she really could appreciate it and relate
Mhm.
to it, especially when he told his story. Remember the story,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
the Barfarama or whatever?
Great movie. Great cast. Love the narration by Richard Dreyfuss. It's just such a good movie. That
Yeah.
one pops into my head from time to time. I want to bring up a comment here from Patrick. He said, by the way, Dark Tea Time isn't in the Hitchhiker series. It's
Yeah,
Dirk Gently Holistic Detective Agency. I think
Yes,
that's what this was called. I've been wanting to read that. I've really been curious. I think there was only, what, 2 books in
Mhm.
that series before, unfortunately, Mr. Adams passed away.
Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, he died way too young.
Yep. We
Yeah.
hate that because
Yeah.
writers have so many stories in them, and that just made me. What you were saying, that was just making me think about, right while how do they say make hay while the sun shines? Right while you got the time.
That's right. That's right. David Anson brings up one, The Sandlot. My kids
Oh,
loved it.
In my list, David. Yes.
I've never seen The Sandlot. I've always
Oh,
heard that
you
it's great.
haven't? Oh, you
No.
need to see that one.
Cool.
It's a good movie. It's them playing baseball, and my favorite part is the dog gets the ball. The guy's got this ball with the signature, the famous baseball player's signature, and this dog,
Okay.
this drooly junkyard dog, gets his baseball, and that's they're trying to get that back, and you got to check it out.
I'll check it out. I'm laughing too because we got a fun comment from Xavier, and he says, "See what I did there? I want props for providing the transition from summer music to summer movies. That, or you could both sing my name in praise and announce me as your Lord and Xavier."
I'll give you props.
And I thought it was just a given that you were my Lord and Xavier.
It is
I
a
went to
given.
Mass this morning and prayed in your name.
In Xavier's name,
Mhm.
Amen.
Mhm.
I did my singing today. That's why I'm not going to sing.
You got any other movies on your list
Well,
there?
Xavier brought up one that I had on my list, so I'm going to great minds think alike. Dazed and Confused. Xavier
Oh,
says,
okay.
Dazed and Confused, anyone? A great film all about the last days of school and the party that most assuredly occurs afterwards. Yes, it does.
I've only seen that movie once, and I barely remember it, but I remember
Oh,
liking it.
really? I've seen it a few times. I think I don't know when it came out, but I do remember watching it a few times. And of course, the soundtrack I had to own. It's an amazing soundtrack. And I have a tradition, and I think I've mentioned this, but I'll do it again because it's perfect for the topic tonight. And that is Alice Cooper's School's
Oh
Out.
yes, yeah.
Every year since my oldest started kindergarten, because this is the kind of mom I am, I pull up to the curb because I pick my kids up from school, and my children get in the car and they go, play it. It's the last day of school, play it. And I blast School's Out by Alice Cooper,
I
and my
think that is
children
awesome.
sing the words.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You carry that on even when they're in college,
I
Melissa.
think I will. By then they'll be like, oh, Jesus Christ, Mom. But then you know what they're going to do?
They're
They're
gonna do it
either
with their
going to
kids.
do that with their kids or they'll come up with their own School's Out song.
Right, right. That's awesome.
What
That's
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to
Hmm.
is the day they graduate from high school, the last day of school before they graduate from high school, and play that. Then.
Yeah, I think that's so cool that you do that. That's a fantastic tradition.
And maybe when they're 30, we'll watch Dazed and Confused together.
Xavier had mentioned, I wish this is from your little faux pas. He says, I wish that Patrick Stewart was in Dirty Dancing. That or Patrick Stemp. Then he said, Patrick Stemp, I had no idea that was you in Dirty Dancing. A man of many talents you are. And that Patrick Stemp is. And one of his many talents is he's going to be hosting a podcast soon. Or
Oh,
he's going to be he's co-hosting a show with Archer Caldwell
oh,
and
cool.
Michael Laron. They're going to be doing a show for Raiders. That's coming out fairly soon. So we'll definitely let everybody know when that comes out.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, guys. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Should we go on to music because we are flying through our time here?
We really are. Leah, let's go into music.
Okay. So, what I have to do is I made a Spotify list. So, let me switch over to that. Here we go. Thank God. I thought it was going to tell me you're offline and I can't get to it. I made a playlist and I will put this in a link to it in the comments here in a minute, but I want to talk about it first. And I called it my all summer long playlist.
Oh,
So
okay.
the first song on it has to be
All Summer Long by the Beach Boys?
no. All Summer Long
It's called an
by
All Summer Long playlist.
yes, but it's All Summer Long by Kid Rock.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah.
you'd start with a good song.
Aw, boo hiss. I love All Summer Long by
Oh,
Kid Rock. Now it sounds like, he
the worst
uses a
song ever. Yeah.
no, but he uses a riff from some classic song at the beginning.
Right, right. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Shut up. Not everything is about the freaking Beach Boys, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just have to reprimand you here. Broaden your your repertoire of music here.
Okay, so it started out with that. A
Yes,
really
and
great
then
song by Kid Rock.
I love it. Okay, you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
Mungo Jerry's.
Oh, in the summertime, I had a bear and I
Yeah,
went to see
that's
her.
it.
She
It's a
lived.
little sexist because it's like, if her daddy's rich, take her out for a meal. If your daddy's poor, just do what you feel. Or is that like, I'm like, whoa.
Right,
I
but
really thought about those lyrics in the past few years, and I'm like, okay, it's not sexist. What is it? Classist?
I'm really not familiar with the lyrics of that one. I just know it's got that cool beat and it's in the summer.
Yeah, it's an awesome song.
That's just the name of the group, Mungo Jerry. I mean, come on, that's like the coolest thing ever.
It is. Okay, should I keep going with them?
Oh yeah, I want to hear what else. How many are on there?
Okay. All right, I've got about 37 songs on here. Now,
Sweet
a
mother of
lot
God.
of these songs are about summer, but then some of them are just ones that feel like summer to me.
Okay.
Ones that when I first had my driver's license, you know what my first car was?
It was Dodge Maverick. Is that what you told
No.
me?
Is a 66 Mustang.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep. And it was, it was not 66 when I had it, so it was an old car when I got it, but it was
Right.
so cool, and my dad was so excited when he found it. So he had either had a tape deck put in it or had one in it. So I would have my cassette tapes. This was before DVD or CDs and DVDs, but not as old as 8-tracks.
Right.
And I would just blast my music and drive around those back roads. I loved it. So some of these songs are from that era of my life. Come Dancing by the Kinks.
Oh, love that song.
That is definitely a summer song to me. Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Great song.
That is a great song. And then by the Motels, Suddenly, Last Summer. I can't sing
Oh,
it because
yeah,
I have
good
no,
song.
I'm tone deaf. And then, of course, I knew you were going to bring up the Beach Boys, so I just
Okay.
threw in some of my favorite Beach Boys. Surfer Girl.
Oh, that's a
That
great
is
song.
always going to be a summer song for me. And, of
Yeah.
course, California Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two Beach Boys I threw in because I knew you were going to bring them up. Um, Seals and Cross, Summer Breeze,
Oh,
makes
yeah.
me feel good. Yeah. Chicago, Saturday in the Park.
Oh, I think it was the 4th
Fourth
of July, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Now, some of
Wow.
these songs I go way back for me, of course, because they came out before I was born, or while I was, still in diapers. But my mom and dad, I mean, in the summer, they always loved to go over to friends and family and have cookouts and spend evenings, and they would play cards and drink beer and, whatever, and us kids would run around and get filthy and play, how what you did in the summer. You ate popsicles and you caught
Right, right.
lightning bugs and stuck them in jars and you got filthy dirty, But I can remember riding home in the car, dozing off, and these songs like Chicago, Saturday in the Park playing,
Right.
um,
Awesome song.
Summer by War.
Oh, I don't think I know that.
You don't know Summer by War? Look it up.
Okay. Well,
Under the Board.
conveniently enough, I'll be able to go to the Spotify list.
Absolutely, you can
Put
go
up
to
the
my
link there.
Spotify list I'll put my link up.
Right.
Under the Boardwalk.
Oh, okay.
We used to
The
all
Drifters.
sing together when that one came on. Yes, the
No,
Drifters.
was it the Bruce Willis version or the Drifters?
No, it was the Drifters version.
Okay.
I
On his
mixed
album, The Return of Bruno, by the way.
I've mixed these up, so some of them are newer, some of them are older. Summer of '69, and of course, ever since you did that Walkcast, you just blew it for me. I was like, oh man, I never even bothered to find out if the guy was singing about himself or what.
Right, yeah, I kind of ruined that song for you. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. You got some great stuff on there. You would have got a few others you want to mention?
Yeah, I'll read here. I'll do the quick. Remember how I did that one time where I just like.
Yeah. Do it.
All right. Boys of Summer by Don Henley. Summer Nights. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Hot Fun in the Summertime. Sly and the Family Stone. Summertime. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, which is Will Smith.
Right.
Before.
Yeah.
Endless Summer Nights by Richard Marx. Surf City by Jan and Dean. Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini.
Okay.
Wipeout. It Cannot Be Summer Without Listening to Wipeout at Least
Wait,
Once by the
is it?
Safaris.
Oh, I didn't know if it was the remake by the Beach Boys and the Fat Boys. You remember that song?
Yes, I love that one. That was great. I actually almost put that on here.
Wow.
Um, I said Summer in the City, right, by the Love and
Yeah.
Spoonful. All right, Girls, David Lee Roth version.
Oh, very good version.
That is an awesome version. Now, this one I don't know if you would consider a summer song. It's just one that reminds me of summer, because especially college summers. Radar Love by Golden Earring.
Okay.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light by
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Cowboy by Kid Rock. Joy and Pain by Omar Chandler. Come Dancing, I think I already mentioned that one.
You did.
Day-O, the Banana Boat Song by
By
Harry
Harry
Belafonte.
Belafonte.
Put the Lime in the Coconut.
Harry Nilsson.
Yep. Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison.
Morrison.
Again, I don't know why that's a summer. Does he say something about summer in it? It just means summer
Well,
to me.
yeah, there's some summer references in there.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Then we've got Going to California by...
Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm a-
actually that's I like that one. I like that's like the one Led Zeppelin song I can really listen to now without turning it off.
Yeah, I've gotten so burned out on Led Zeppelin over the
Same
years,
here. Yeah.
but it was something I listened to all the time, and I maybe it's because the summers are the most memorable for us when we're teenagers and early 20s, but I listened to a lot of Zeppelin back then, so that was a summer song. And then there was another band that I burned out on, but I have just recently revived my love on, and that is Bad Company.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah.
What song would that be?
Actually, several songs, three of them in particular. Shooting Star,
Okay.
Can't Get Enough,
Mhm.
and Feel Like Making Love.
Okay. Cool.
And then the last song on my list, I actually have two versions, and I have to say, I have really fallen in love with the new version that was on the Secret Life of Walter Mitty soundtrack. It's
Okay.
Escape, the Pina Colada song.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And Jack Johnson did a remake of it, and it
Get
is
out of here.
fantastic.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love to see what people can do. Like, I found a remake of Emotional Rescue, and it's kind of a bossa nova kind of remake. Do you remember Emotional Rescue from the
Yeah,
Rolling
Think about the
Stones?
Stones. Yeah. I will
Yeah.
be your knight in
In
shining armor,
Armor. I love
coming
that
to your
song.
emotional rescue.
Rescue. But I found a remake of it that was like a bossa nova kind of version, but it's
Really now?
really
Wow.
cool.
Oh, cool.
So I will put that link up there. I'll put it in the comments. But those are my songs. Did you have a list of songs? But
Well, I mean, a lot of the ones you mentioned were things that I had thought about. There's one that when you were talking, it made me think of a song that I had not thought of until now, a great summer song that's from the 70s, and that's Ventura Highway by America. I always associate that with summer.
why is that?
Well, because the music's so happy for one thing. It's a great
Yeah.
song to have come on the car radio when you got the windows down, just driving around, the sun is shining, and he's like, chewing on a piece of grass, walking in the sun, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And alligator lizards in the air, when you're looking up at the clouds. How stoned were they when they wrote those lyrics? I mean, alligator lizards in the
No,
air.
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's awesome though. It's awesome. Boy, there's some other things popping into my head while you were mentioning those. And we got to bring up the Beach Boys. I mean, you did mention some Beach Boys, and Beach Boys are one of my all-time favorite groups. And of course, they're the quintessential. Oh, I think that's the first time we've ever used that word on Savannah Fiction Club.
Buddy's using big words. I'm proud of you.
I had a dictionary once. I'm going to make that face for the rest of the show. But come on, the ultimate summer band. And I love their song All Summer Long. I mentioned that earlier. Just about anything by them. I have a box set of theirs. It's called, I own pretty much everything by them, but it's called Good Vibrations. It's a 4 CD.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fantastic. And you can find, I think, just about all of their stuff is on Spotify.
Yeah, I think the Beach Boys are all nice and wrapped up on Spotify, which is great.
Yeah, and for me, I used to associate Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA album with
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm so bad about that. My husband and I were having a talk about that the other day. What I do is I get excited. So you have to excuse me. It's not like me interrupting you, but it's just because I get so excited and want to share. So please forgive me.
Okay, what were you going to say?
Bruce Springsteen is a summer memory for me because I used to love Bruce Springsteen. I mean, I like Bruce Springsteen now, but maybe I burned down on it. I don't know. It's time for me to resurrect the Bruce Springsteen albums. Of course, they probably are actually albums. um, but go search out some of his music again because I used to love like The River,
Hmm.
and this
Great
was
song.
stuff I listened to in the summer. I had like I think my parents bought me a collection for Christmas one year because they knew I loved Bruce Springsteen.
Hmm.
So I had like 6 cassettes of like all his music or
Oh,
his
okay.
top
Very cool.
music and would just listen to it over and over. But The River was one of them, Born in the USA, of course. I
Right.
was really into Bruce Springsteen now that I think about it.
And I just saw that I think it was just this past week, maybe the week before, it was the 30th anniversary of the release of Born in the USA, that album.
Oh, wow.
So
Hey,
that was the beginning of June. So I guess that's why I associate it with summer. I
yeah,
think that summer I played that album all year.
came out. David Anson brought something up that we have been remiss in.
Oh, the album of the
The
week.
album of the week. And
Can
oh, I see the Fonz
you
on the
you do
album
see
of the
the
week.
fonts, and
Now, what is the album?
I bet I am the only one that's going to be involved with the show tonight who owns this album. Perhaps David Anson does, but at the height of the fame of Happy Days, while it was running on the air,
Uh-huh.
this album was released. Okay, and it's called Fonzie's Favorites. And I
No.
remember
He's
how
not
like
singing, is he?
no, but it's
Oh,
funny.
thank God.
That's just what I was going to. No, no, no. That's just where I was going with this. Remember, like the cheesy like commercials that used to be on TV for albums, like in the '70s and '80s. Like the KTEL
Yes.
albums, and you'd have some big announcer. He'd be like, and they'd flash like the cover of this, and they'd be like, "Fonzie's favorites."
Oh,
Is Fonzie singing now, ladies and gentlemen? No, no, no. Better than that. Fonzie's picked out all his favorite songs from the '50s,
oh
and
my God.
that was like
Did
that.
that
I think.
so well. Yes, I remember that.
And that's what this is. And remember this for albums, you could have like this little flap in the back where you could like sit it up and sit it on
Yes.
your desk or
Oh
whatever.
my God. And it
Yeah.
has it.
And I did that for a while. I had that there, and no, actually, it even says it back here. I don't know if you can see it. Wait, no, the Fonz has not taken to singing better. He has chosen
And
favorite
they
50s
show his
records to
butt.
share with. Yeah, they show his butt. They show him, and I used to think it was the coolest thing in the world because you saw the stuff like written on the wall, like they do.
Yeah.
Mickey is a mouse, sit on it. Wisconsin cheese, because the show took place in
Okay.
Wisconsin. But you had the Happy Days theme. You had all these great '50s songs. Splish Splash by
Yeah, of
Bobby
course.
Darin, Barbara Ann by the Regents, Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis, Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets, which was the theme song for the show in the first 2 seasons of the show. They threw on some like cheesy songs like about Fonzie. There was something called the Fonzarelli Slide by some group, someone named Frank Linden, and then there was the Fonz song by the Hayettes,
Oh
and
God.
Impressionist track, which was just people going, "Hey, cool,
Hey,
nerd, sit on it."
Correctamundo.
Right. And then there's other stuff on here like Tears on My Pillow by Little Anthony and the Imperials, Since I Don't Have You by the Skyliners, Hey Ya Ya by Lee Dorsey, stuff like that. So that was one from my childhood, Fonzie's favorites.
Nice. That was awesome. Oh, and David Anson made a comment. The dog in Sandlot we was talking about, his name was Hercules, and the old man who owned him was played by James Earl Jones, who I
Oh, okay.
love. I love. Do you watch Big Bang Theory?
I do, but I did not see the one that he was on. I saw a commercial for it. I saw him and Sheldon on the top of a
Yes.
roller Ferris wheel
And
together.
it turned out that
Don't
like,
say the end.
okay. But it turned out he was a crazy guy, and he had all this fun with Sheldon, and to the point where Sheldon was like, "I want to go home." But
Oh,
everybody thought he was going to bug him, and it turned out they had a great time
Oh,
together.
I gotta watch that one. Patrick brought up a movie earlier. He said, "What about Bob? Bestest Bill Murray movie ever."
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, Bill Murray. I lost the comment, but that is a great. That's one of my favorite Bill Murray
Yeah.
movies, and that's
Yeah,
Richard Dreyfuss is awesome in
I
that.
got the comment. He says, "What about Bob? Bestest Bill Murray um, movie ever. Richard Dreyfuss is awesome. Yes, he is. And while we're on Dreyfuss, Jaws. Dun, dun, dun.
Dreyfuss is a great.
Yeah, love Dreyfuss. And the song when they're singing at night on the boat.
Oh, I don't remember.
Um, I'm gonna find a YouTube video and post it.
Okay.
Okay.
David also mentioned that for songs, the Mr. Softy jingle, the song Ice Cream Trucks Play. Well, one of the songs they play. Oh,
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah,
I lived in a place where we didn't get ice cream trucks because we were in the country. So I had to go to my grandmother's to
gotcha.
chase the ice cream truck.
You know, one thing I was always wondering about Mr. Softy,
Uh-oh.
it kind of concerns me, is like, what if, there's all these Mr. Softy trucks out there? Wouldn't it be a shame if there was like a guy who's a Mr. Softy driver, and like this man suffered from impotence, and every day he had to like get into his Mr. Softy truck that said Mr. Softy on it, and he's dealing with this impotence problem anyway?
Oh, buddy.
Wouldn't that be horrible? I'm sure that's out
That would
there.
be the wrong job for that man.
It would, and if you're watching and that's happening to you, good luck, and there's help available.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Oh my gosh. On to music, buddy. The Cars.
Oh, okay,
Go.
yeah, the Cars, great, great summer band. Yeah. Oh, I was thinking of that one earlier, and one of the ultimate summer songs is "Magic" by the Cars, because it actually starts out with "Summer."
Yes.
It turns me upside down. Summer, summer, summer. It's like
Yep,
a
yep, yep.
merry-go-round. That's like
And
one of
I'm
the
gonna
best summer
add.
songs ever.
I gotta add that one to the list because that is one of the best summer songs ever.
It really is. Xavier says, my favorite summer music comes from bands who know life in the sun the most. 90s bands from California.
Oh,
I'm
there
going
you
to do
go.
myself like a radio announcer. Third Eye Blind, Incubus, and Red Hot Chili Peppers all have great
Oh,
songs that really just capture that feeling of being by the waterside, drinking with friends.
that was perfect. Now here's a sad statement. When I go look up Magic, Coldplay comes up.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, come on.
Or Magic by Olivia Newton-John.
Let's see, The Cars.
Great, great song.
Oh yeah. There's so many good songs with the Cars, and they definitely I've associated them with the summer. Here's Magic by the Cars. It's like, good God, I'm getting old when I go into the music thing and it's like Magic by the Cars. Pff, you old lady, get out of here. You shouldn't be on Spotify.
Okay, one of my top. I always have a favorite song. It's hard for me to pick a favorite artist. It's hard for me to pick a favorite album by an artist. But I always, at one point or another, have a favorite song, right?
Right.
And I lately, I have classified Thin Lizzy's "The Boys Are Back in Town" as my official favorite song.
Oh God, isn't that what they played on? It was a theme song for Good Buddies.
Well, I don't know what Good Buddies is.
The boys are
I
back
like
in
the second
town.
part of that. Good Buddies?
Oh, what was it called? It was Tom Hanks. You don't know that show?
Oh, Bosom Buddies.
Bosom Buddies. Thank you.
Yeah, the theme
They
song
weren't
was.
good buddies. They were bosom buddies.
They were good buddies too. In your defense, they were really good buddies. You can't be bosom buddies without being good buddies.
That was such the funniest title.
Yeah, that was "My Life" was the theme song for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, but I love that song, and that to me is a great, great summer song. They're singing about going down to Dino's Bar and Grill, and then everybody's happy because the boys are back in town, and it's just a
Oh,
kick.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a kick-ass song.
That is.
That's one I've got it. It comes on the car radio. I don't care if I'm like 2 seconds from my home. I am driving a few streets around to hear that song.
Just so you can hear it over and over again.
Exactly, exactly.
I'm adding that to the all summer long playlist.
You should. You
I
should.
just did, because that's how it works, man. We are living in the internet age.
That's how it works, man.
I'm on a roll.
You are. You are.
When you have internet, like everything's at your fingertips. And when you don't have internet for 3 days in a row,
Oh
you
yeah.
appreciate it more.
And then you got to like get on there and like really like make up for lost time and everything.
It's sad. Yeah, I know it's sad.
Speaking of sad, not to bring things on a downer, but let's all like send some good vibes out to Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan was in a horrible car accident Friday night.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It was. He was actually performing a show Friday night in Dover, Delaware, and he was heading back to New York. And unfortunately, a horrible accident. One of his fellow comedians actually got killed in the accident. He's in critical condition right now. So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So let's all keep our fingers crossed for the great comedian and actor Tracy.
What happened? See, I'm sitting. I don't
Yeah,
watch the
I
news.
don't know everything about it. It actually involved a truck from Walmart that apparently the person was charged with causing this accident. I mean, it was an accident. I don't think they were drinking or anything like that, but I think maybe the driver wasn't paying attention the way that he should have been, and multiple cars were involved with this, and I think 2 people were killed, and Tracy Morgan is in bad shape, and hopefully we're not going to look back on the show later and know that Tracy passed on. But let's all the best for Tracy Morgan.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but we want to keep things happy here, so let's keep it happy stuff.
Let's do something happy now. I need to announce, and I'm so bad at this, so I just got to learn to do it. But I just released the 4th book in my Little Flame series.
Oh, congratulations!
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will put a link. The first book is up for free, and it's a fun series. I think I have talked about it before, but as people who watch the show, and as you know, and it's one of the things we bonded over, buddy, is I am a lover of music, and I really do listen to everything. I give everything a chance. And one of the music styles I've really fallen in love with recently is the electronica, dance, dubstep type music. So the Little Flame series is a music producer or DJ. I guess they call them producers now because they do more than mix. They create. So the first 3 books I put out all at once, and I've got the 4th one out. It just came out on Friday.
Oh, that's great.
And it's basically they're on a dubstep tour going from town to town. I think we talked about this. It starts out in D.C., second book ends up in Philly, third book is in Jersey, and then the 4th book they go all the way across country and end up in L.A.
Oh, nice.
So, Limelight is in New York. I'm sorry, the 5th book they go to L.A. That's where my head is because the book that I'm finishing now, I'm writing, is the one in L.A., so that's where my head is. And it's so funny because it's been a long time since I've been out in L.A., so I'm like going on Google Maps, and you know how you can get street views?
Right, yeah, you gotta love that.
Yes, and I was like, oh my God.
Easy now.
Because I gotta, okay, when you go to the Santa Monica Pier, and I'm getting down and looking at it, you got to love Google Maps just for that.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
great.
Limelight is out. I'll put a link to it, but if you haven't read the series, the first one is free, so you can try it out. I like people to do that, and if you don't like it, you don't like it.
And remind people what that first one is?
It is called 9:30.
9:30, perfect.
And there's a whole little thing, and my friends know about it, but I'm going to let it up to people to discover what the titles are about, and I will give you a clue. When you figure out what city they're in, the title will make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you did there, and I think it's really cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to bring up one more comment before we go, and that's from David Anson. He says Sublime is great summer music.
Yes, it is. I love Sublime.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Sublime. What would I know by Sublime? I know stuff.
The songs are in my head. Let me look it up because I'm really bad with titles. But I'm telling you, I hear the music in my head. It's just like with movies. I see the scenes in What I Got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I'm adding to my summer list. Who brought that one up?
David Anson.
Thank you, David. That just got added to the summer list. Santeria is one of them. There's all kinds of songs by those guys. Yeah, Doing Time.
Hey, what's that Afro Man song that you
Smoking 2 Joints.
Is that what it's called?
There's one called Smoke 2 Joints, man. I remember that song now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's what I was just going to ask about Afro Man. That's it.
Afro Man, that's the Because I Got High.
Oh, that's right. That
is a good summer song.
Yeah. Oh, you know what song always reminds me of summer, and it doesn't really have anything to do with summer, but it's Burning Down the House by Talking Heads.
Oh, God, yeah.
I remember hanging out with friends from high school, like on the beach, and we would always bring our radios or tape players to the beach. And I remember that, like, playing, and, we were, like, making up our own lyrics, like, burning on the beach, stuff like that.
Well, one of our stupid things is that, we were stupid, we were young, and this was in high school and college, and we would have parties, and someone would always, blast that song. And it's just like, we're so... You don't even know it because your brain isn't done developing until you're about 25 years old. You don't know how stupid you're being.
I had another one I meant to mention earlier. One album that I always associate with the summer is the first Asia album, simply called Asia. Because I remember, like, being away with my family. I think I was in high school. Yeah, I know I was in high school then, and we were away, and I had just recently bought that tape, and I played it like that whole week down the beach. And that's just one of the classic albums ever by anybody. Fantastic, fantastic album. If you're not familiar with it, look for it on Spotify. You can listen to it for free. It's like a flawless album. The first Asia album, containing the hits "Heat of the Moment" and "Only Time Will Tell."
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
"Soul Survivor"
You have
was
to
on there.
start saying those things. I'm like, okay, the first album, what was on it?
Classic album. Classic album. So, my friend, we are a little bit over an hour.
Yes, we
It was a
are.
great, great topic tonight.
That was fun. I feel, and
Yeah.
I still like we didn't get to half the movies and
Yeah. Do you
still
want to
have a
mention?
ton of books.
Yeah. Do you want to mention a couple more? We can.
Okay, I'll just do it real quick because I know
Okay.
people got to go to bed and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
my best movies were, of course, Grease, Weekend
Mhm.
at Bernie's, American Pie.
Oh, great one.
You're gonna laugh at this one, Deliverance.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because they were canoeing, right? It was the summer.
Yeah. I've never seen Deliverance.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
love Burt Reynolds, but I've never seen that.
Dirty Dancing, we mentioned Grease, The Sandlot, Caddyshack.
Oh, yes.
That is a summer
Fantastic.
movie. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah, it
Fast
is.
Times at Ridgemont High.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wasn't in the summer, but it's the end of the school year, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a
Yes.
summer movie
Great
for
one.
me. Stand By Me, Dazed and Confused, American Graffiti,
Never saw it.
National Lampoon's Vacation,
Perfect. Perfect.
The Graduate,
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Very good.
and Jaws.
Yeah, I got to see that eventually.
Yeah,
I
you
really
do.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Xavier. My favorite summer music comes. Oh, we already did that. It just
Oh,
popped
okay.
up on mine.
You mentioned American Pie. I want to give a shout out there for American Pie 2, which did
Oh
take
yeah.
place over the summer. They all went off to and rented a lake house
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, those American Pie movies were really good. At
They
least
were
those first
fun.
two were. They were fun, but you know what? There were some like good touching moments in there too. Like just how tight they were as friends, and there was some like good relationship stuff in there. Yes, they're really well known for like some of their crude scenes, but they're
Mhm.
really good movies. American Wedding was a little bit of a disappointment. I like the American Reunion that they did a year or so ago too. That was really good.
What I remember the most about American Pie was the dad trying to talk to his son.
Yeah. Oh, the dad was Jim's dad. Jim's dad was awesome.
That was always cracking me up. It's like, oh man, leave the poor boy alone.
Yeah, the dad played by Eugene Levy. He was fantastic in that movie. So,
One last thing I want to do before we go. Best summer
okay.
books. I only got to touch on a couple of them, but A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, which is about someone who did like a section hike on the AT.
Oh, okay.
Divine Secrets, The Yaya Sisterhood. That was the Rebecca Wells book. The Great Gatsby by F.
Oh,
Scott
okay.
Fitzgerald. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Now
That's a good
here's,
book.
yeah, it's an awesome book. You read it?
Yeah, I did.
Cool, good for
Very good.
you. That's one I recommend to everybody. Like I used to keep copies of it on hand and just hand it out to people I felt like, having a conversation like, here, read this book.
That's how I read it. A friend of mine like gave me a copy because she loved it so much.
Yeah, it's just such an awesome book.
Cool.
The Pilot's Wife by Anita Shreve, Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Um, don't know if it necessarily takes place in the summer, but you know the premise of it, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, Witchling by Yasmin Galenorn, Promise Texas series by Debbie McComber. The Yasmin Galenorn, she's a paranormal. Any of her books are really summer books to me because that's when I get a chance to sit down and read series, like
Hmm.
one after another. Um, Promise Texas series and Blossom Street by Debbie McComber. Um, The Nanny Diaries by Emma McLaughlin and
Well, that's not by Fran Drescher?
no, it's not by Fran Dresser. And then Give Me by someone we know, L.K. Did she pronounce it Rigel or
I
Regal?
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's got that Faye series of hers.
Oh, right, right.
Give Me, Bride of Faye, and she's about to come out with a third one. It's not that there's so much about the summer, but something about fairy paranormal books, I don't know, they just seem summery. Like vampires seem winter and dark.
Yeah, true.
Fairies seem summer and spring.
Right.
Classify my paranormal creatures.
Hey, I wanted to bring Xavier mentioned a great summer song by a group that I love a lot. and he says, "Ooh, Island in the Sun by Weezer." That's
Wow, there you go.
yeah,
Weezer.
dip dip. I love Weezer.
Yeah,
Weezer's
Weezer's
fantastic.
good. I'm gonna have to put that one on the playlist too.
Yeah, that's a really good choice.
It's Island by the Sun, right?
Island in the Sun by
In the
Weezer.
Sun, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess we'll be wrapping this one up unless you had a few more that you would like to mention, my
Nope,
friend.
I'm done. I finally wore myself out.
I did
Patty's
want
like, phew, she was hyper tonight.
to no, no, this is a fun one. This is
Well,
a
it's
fun
because I missed the one when I was on the road,
right.
and then I missed last week. It's like all bottled up in me. It's like I don't get my outlet.
I did want to mention what we're going to do next week, folks. Next Sunday is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all of you out there who are
Yay!
fathers or who have fathers or who want to be fathers. But we're going to do, like we did for Mother's Day, we're going to do it on great fathers in fiction. We're not so great
We're
fathers.
not so great fathers.
Yeah. So we'll talk about favorites from books, from
Awesome.
movies, from television.
I bet I can even dredge up some songs about fathers.
Yeah, I bet you can.
Do
Yeah,
that right now.
I like the cuts in the cradle in the
Silver
silver.
spoon.
I hate that song.
I know
I
you
hate
do.
it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Poor buddy. To be so passionate about it.
Yeah.
It just you miss like it comes on the radio and you go, ah!
Yeah. No, I just click, put on something else.
Isn't that wonderful?
Just like I do with All Summer Long by Kid Rock. Click
Oh,
something.
I love that song. You know, when I was teaching, oh God, you guys, I taught spin. You know what spin is?
Isn't it some freaky exercise dancing?
It's not dancing. It is freaking stationary bike class.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually pretty cool because you can get your heart rate up really good. But
Oh, okay.
it doesn't have the stress. Anyways, I won't go into all that. Well, being a lover of music, one of the things I absolutely loved about teaching spin is it was all about the music and picking the right beat because you had to pick the right beat because if you were making a climb up a mountain or if you were doing a flat or we would actually do like jumps and you had to have songs that had like that regular repeat of a refrain or something that you could get many jumps so you get people exhausted. And All Summer Long was one of the songs I love to use for like a warm up because it made people happy. Like, oh, okay, la la la.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, and Michael Franti is a good one for that too. And that was actually a song I forgot to mention, but it's too late. I'll put it in the list. You all can listen to it
Michael Franti?
later. Am I getting it right?
Oh, I'm not sure who you're talking about. But that's so yeah, you got it right.
You don't know who it is. Maybe I'm getting the name wrong.
Oh, Patrick had mentioned this was a little. He said Honeymoon Suite, great summer music. That's kind of a now obscure band from the '80s, but they were
Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah.
Okay, Michael Franti is an artist. You just had me crazy. I can picture his face. I was just thinking, oh, am I getting his name wrong? You just don't know who he is. So
No, I don't know
you
who he
need
is.
to look him. You need to look him up because he's got some awesome stuff.
Oh, okay, very cool. I will do
Um,
that.
related artists would be like Ziggy Marley and
Oh, okay.
but he's much more I don't know. He's got happy songs like not that Ziggy Marley didn't, but
hmm
I'll find my favorite one and add it to the list and you can check it out.
Very, very cool. Something else had just popped up here, but I think I might have already lost it. Oh, David Hansen says summer movies, Porky's and Hollywood Nights.
Oh my God, Porky's. I actually thought of those, but it's been so long since I've seen them, and they're just so over the top. I was like, do I bring them up and admit that, I watched all these movies?
And Hollywood, have you ever seen Hollywood Nights?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think I have, yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, it's Hollywood Nights. It's with a K. And
Yes.
it's a great movie. Tony, we mentioned Tony Danza earlier. Tony
Tony
Danza was in that
Danza.
movie. He was one of the characters. And Michelle Pfeiffer was one of her first movies.
Oh my God, that's right. See,
Yeah.
like bringing it all back.
Yeah, Robert Wall was in that. I don't know if you remember Robert Wall. He was like a reporter in the first
No.
Batman movie with Michael Keaton. But really a good movie. If you've never seen Hollywood Nights, check that out. It's funny and it's a great movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of those older movies that for me are summer movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they came out in the summer, or maybe we just, we rented a lot of back in those days. Those days. Oh, get me my baby, honey. We rented VHS tapes
Right.
because we didn't have a Blockbusters when I was a teenager. We had an L Video.
L Video?
L Video. I think it
Okay.
was like privately owned, and it had, one of those rooms in the back,
Oh, okay.
that Blockbuster doesn't have.
Right, right.
But we'd go there and we'd get, oh, here was a summer movie I forgot, which is The Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid.
Oh, yeah, that's a great summer movie.
Yeah, I don't know, they were in school, but it was in California. Any movie set in California can be considered a summer movie as far
Yeah.
as I.
You
Um,
know,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I thought about Blockbuster. Now, I don't know if there's any Blockbuster stores left anymore.
I
But
don't
do you
think there
remember?
are.
Yeah, but do you remember how they always wore the uniform? They had the light blue shirt with the tan
Hmm.
pants. You know who could have worked there at Blockbuster?
Who?
The professor from Gilligan's Island, because that's exactly what he wore. I wonder if they were inspired by Professor Roy Hinckley
They could have
from
been.
Gilligan's Island.
They could have been.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's the end of an era with the Blockbuster
Yeah.
because I can remember going every weekend and picking out movies in the Blockbuster, and they just couldn't seem to have enough of the new releases in
Yeah.
there.
Oh man, if you went on a Friday night, Saturday night, I mean that's what like most people were doing if they weren't actually going out to a movie or going out
Hmm.
to a bar. You were going to Blockbuster and getting the movies. Now there's like 50 gazillion cars lined up on a curb next to a red box,
Yeah.
for the same thing.
And I remember that when I was now was I still at home? Was I living? Yeah, because I can remember going with my high school boyfriend to go get movies at the Blockbuster. We had to go all the way into Reading, which was like, 15, 20-minute drive. It was not close by.
Right,
As
right.
far as like, most people are used to going 5 minutes to get things. Now I live out in the country and I sometimes have to go 45 minutes to get to.
That's the beauty now of having Netflix and Amazon
Yeah.
Prime. We can just get stuff like that. You gotta
Well,
love it.
and the red box is at every gas station. Like we
Yeah.
have a 7-Eleven gas station on 29 coming down towards my house, and it's maybe 10 minutes from my house. And we get Netflix, or not Netflix, but we do get Netflix all the time, but we get Redbox all the time because it's $1.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. So next week, like we said, fathers in
Fathers,
fiction, good and
yeah,
bad. So
that
friends,
would
think
be
about
awesome.
that. We'll talk about that. And also, you know what? Well, I'll talk to you about this later. I had an idea.
Okay.
I had an idea for another show.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody, check out Melissa's new book.
Oh, I gotta put
Check
a
out
link
the
to that. Yeah.
first book in her series, which you can
I'll
get for free.
I'll
9:30.
do I'll put both links in. I'll put 930, which is the first book in the series, and then the new one is called Limelight. But once you look up 930, you'll see them all. They're connected out there.
Hmm.
Um,
Fantastic,
could
fantastic.
be a fun summer read.
It could be. It could be.
Oh, and they're kind of on the short side, so they're like one sitting reads if you want them to be. I think the gals and guys who are reading, I actually have guys who read my books, are saying they're able to read them, in a 3-hour sitting.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. You going to be at the beach next weekend when we're doing the
I
show?
am. I am, and it does have internet.
Okay.
So
Delaware?
cross your fingers. No, I'm not going to be at Delaware next week. I'm going to be in Folly Beach. I go to Delaware in July.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'll give you the dates of that if there's, any chance you and the lovely Lisa might be able to meet up with us.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
It'd be cool.
All right, so everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the live comments and for participating in the show. You guys brought up a lot of great summer things, so
Yes,
we
thank you,
appreciate it very
everybody.
much. You guys always make the show a lot of fun. And Melissa, it was great to have you back.
Hey, it's great to be back.
It was
Obviously.
a fun time. And thanks for the duet at the beginning.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, maybe
I
we'll do
still
that.
hate singing in public, but I'll do it for you.
All right, everyone, have a fantastic week. Enjoy your June, and we will see you next week. So take care, our friends.
Good night, everybody.